After what we just watched from this rookie quarterback, it's almost impossible not to start imagining what the future could look like for this team. But before we get too carried away, there's something we seriously need to talk about. Because yes, the debut was impressive. Really impressive. But there's a big reason Rams fans need to pump the brakes just a little bit before we start calling this kid the next franchise quarterback. And honestly, I think this is one of those situations where you can be excited and cautious at the exact same time. What we saw was real. The flashes were real. The talent was real. But the question is, what happens when the competition gets tougher? That's what I want to break down with you today, because this could be one of the most interesting storylines for the Rams over these next few weeks. If you're new here, I'm Jake, and this is Rams House Daily. If you're a real Rams fan and you believe this team can finally make that Super Bowl run, hit that like button and subscribe. We're still building this channel from the ground up, and our first goal is 800 subscribers. I want the real Rams fans here from the beginning. The ones who believe in this team and want to be part of the Rams community before this thing takes off. So let's get into what actually happened, because Ty Simpson gave Rams fans plenty of reasons to be excited in his first preseason appearance against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Rams came away with a 20-12 victory, and Simpson entered the game in the second quarter, taking over for Stetson Bennett. And from that moment on, the rookie looked incredibly comfortable. Simpson finished 21 of 25, passing for 190 yards, with 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Both touchdown passes went to running back Dean Connors. That's an 84% completion rate in his first preseason action. And according to ESPN, Simpson became the first player since 2018 to record at least 190 passing yards and 2 touchdowns in a preseason debut. That is an impressive first impression. There's no way around it. Even Sean McVay came away impressed, specifically praising Simpson's command of the offense and the chemistry he showed with offensive coordinator Nate Scheelhaase. And this is where things get really interesting. Because almost immediately, people started asking whether Simpson might actually be the best quarterback from the 2026 draft class, even potentially ahead of Fernando Mendoza, the first overall pick by the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, Rams fans, I understand the excitement. After watching Simpson play, it's hard not to start thinking about the possibilities, but this is exactly where we need to slow down. Mo Moton of Bleacher Report made an important point. Simpson was facing a Kansas City defense that was missing some of its best pass rushers, and much of the Chiefs' lineup consisted of players who are unlikely to make the final roster. That matters. A preseason performance against backups is not the same thing as playing against a regular season defense with a full game plan, starting pass rushers, and much higher stakes. And that doesn't mean Simpson's performance was fake. Not at all. In fact, that's one of the biggest points here. We can acknowledge that the situation was favorable while still giving the rookie credit for taking advantage of it, because he did exactly what the Rams needed him to do. The Rams kept things relatively simple early in the game. They used play-action bootlegs, particularly rolling Simpson to his right, which essentially cut the field in half and gave him easier reads. 18 of his 25 pass attempts traveled fewer than 10 yards downfield. His average depth of target was just 5.3 yards, which ranked 62nd out of 73 qualifying quarterbacks that week. It was tied with Kenny Pickett for the lowest mark among quarterbacks who had at least 10 attempts. But again, I don't see that as a negative. Actually, I think the Rams handled this perfectly. You don't throw a rookie into his first preseason game and immediately ask him to play like Matthew Stafford. You establish rhythm, you give him simple reads, you let him get comfortable, and Simpson executed. He went 7 for 8 for 83 yards on play-action throws, and his average time to throw was 3.02 seconds. That tells me the Rams had a plan for him, and Simpson followed that plan. But there was another part of his performance that caught my attention even more. Sean McVay had specifically talked about wanting to see how Simpson would react when the pocket started breaking down. Would he find the quick throw? Would he recognize an escape lane? Could he create something after the original play fell apart? And we actually got to see some of that. Early in the game, Simpson received a bad snap from the center. The ball was bobbled, the play broke down, and instead of panicking or forcing a throw into trouble, Simpson calmly threw the ball away. That might not show up as an exciting highlight on social media, but those are the kinds of decisions coaches love from a young quarterback. Later, Simpson faced pressure up the middle. He escaped to his right, rolled outside, kept his eyes downfield, and found Dean Connors along the sideline. It didn't result in a first down, but that play checked one of the boxes McVay wanted to see. Simpson showed that when the pocket isn't perfect, he doesn't necessarily fall apart. And then there was the arm talent. This is where you start to understand why the Rams were interested in him in the first place. Simpson wasn't asked to throw deep all night, but when he did have opportunities to attack intermediate and deeper areas, you could see the talent. On intermediate throws, he went 5 for 6 for 97 yards, and one of the best throws of the entire game came in the fourth quarter. Before the draft, Simpson appeared on John Gruden's QB class, where he and Gruden discussed throwing into what they called the turkey hole, that space between the underneath cornerback and the deep safety against cover 2. That is something Simpson showed he could attack at Alabama, and against Kansas City, we saw a glimpse of why that ability matters. In the fourth quarter, Simpson recognized the coverage, layered the football over the nickel cornerback and underneath the safety, and delivered an accurate pass to Max Clare's outside shoulder. That was one of those throws where you stop and think, okay, that's a first-round quarterback throw. It wasn't a routine checkdown. It wasn't a simple play-action completion. It was a throw that required recognition, timing, touch, and arm strength. And Simpson delivered it. Then, as the game moved into the fourth quarter, the Rams started giving him a little more freedom. And that's when he really started to settle in. He finished the fourth quarter 8 for 10 for 99 yards and 2 touchdowns. On one straight drop back from shotgun, Simpson fired a pass over the middle into tight coverage and put the football in a spot where only C.J. Daniels could realistically make the play. Those are the moments that make you excited about the future. But Rams fans, let's not pretend he was perfect. There are still areas he needs to clean up. At the end of the first half, Simpson appeared to be just a little late getting the football to Max Clare along the sideline. The pass was still accurate, but the timing needs to get quicker. And that's something that should improve naturally as Simpson gets more live reps and becomes more comfortable with the speed of NFL defenses. There was another play on third down where Simpson took what was available, but the receiver ended up short of the sticks. He didn't necessarily make a bad decision, but if he had come back toward his left, he would have seen Xavier Smith coming across the middle on the inside dig. That's the kind of thing that shows up when you watch the film. It's not some massive red flag, it's a rookie learning to process the entire field at NFL speed. And that's really the biggest takeaway from this whole performance. The Rams didn't ask Ty Simpson to be Superman. They didn't ask him to carry the offense. They didn't throw the entire playbook at him. They simplified things, got him into rhythm, used play action, allowed him to make easier reads, and then gradually loosened the reins. And as his confidence grew, so did the offense. That's exactly what you want to see from a rookie quarterback. At the same time, this is where the comparison to Fernando Mendoza needs to be put into perspective. There's no reason for Rams fans to start declaring Simpson better than Mendoza after one preseason game. There's no reason to call him a future top 10 quarterback. And there's certainly no reason to crown him as Matthew Stafford's successor just yet. But there is absolutely a reason to be excited, because the Rams may have found themselves with a rookie quarterback who is further along than some people expected. And for this franchise, that's a huge development. Matthew Stafford remains the unquestioned starter, and Simpson has openly talked about trying to absorb as much knowledge as possible from him. That relationship could be incredibly valuable. Think about the situation for a second. Instead of throwing Simpson into the fire immediately, the Rams have the opportunity to let him learn behind one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the league. Sean McVay can develop him. Nate Scheelhaas can continue building the offensive system around his strengths. And Stafford can give him the kind of veteran perspective that you simply can't manufacture in a classroom. So the question isn't whether Ty Simpson is already the Rams' next franchise quarterback. We don't know that yet. The real question is whether he can keep stacking performances like this as the competition gets tougher. That's what I'm watching. Because the next 2 preseason games suddenly become a lot more interesting. Now we get to see whether Simpson can build on this confidence. Can he push the ball downfield more consistently? Can he speed up his processing? Can he make the right decision when defenses disguise coverage? Can he handle more pressure? Can he continue creating outside of structure? Those are the questions that will tell us far more than 21 completions on 25 attempts. And honestly, that's why I don't think Rams fans should be disappointed by the fact that the Rams kept things simple. They did exactly what they should have done. The preseason doesn't count in the standings, but that doesn't mean these games are meaningless. If Simpson had struggled, people would absolutely be talking about it. So when he plays well, we shouldn't suddenly pretend it doesn't matter. It matters. It just needs to be put into the proper context. Ty Simpson gave the Rams something very valuable, evidence that the talent they invested in is showing up on the field. Now, he has to do it again. And again. And again. Because that's how you turn a great preseason debut into something meaningful. Right now, I think the biggest mistake would be going from "this kid looked really good" to "we found our franchise quarterback, we're not there." But we're also not supposed to ignore what we just watched. The accuracy was impressive. The decision-making was encouraging. The ability to manipulate defenders with his eyes was encouraging. The arm talent showed up. His ability to escape pressure showed up. And most importantly, he looked more comfortable as the game progressed. For a rookie quarterback making his first preseason appearance, that's a pretty exciting place to start. And behind Matthew Stafford, the Rams don't need Ty Simpson to be ready tomorrow. They need him to keep developing. They need him to learn. They need him to keep stacking good days. And if he does that, then suddenly the long-term quarterback picture in Los Angeles gets a whole lot more interesting. So Rams fans, I'm excited. I'm cautious. And honestly, I think that's the perfect combination right now. Don't crown Ty Simpson yet, but don't sleep on him either. Because if he continues developing at this pace, we're going to have a very different conversation about the Rams' future quarterback situation by the time the regular season gets here, and that's something I definitely want to see. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the like button and let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you believe Ty Simpson showed enough against the Chiefs to make you genuinely excited about his future? Or do you think Rams fans need to wait until he faces tougher competition before making any big conclusions? I really want to hear from you guys, because that's what Rams House Daily is supposed to be about. This channel is still new, and we're trying to build something together with real Rams fans who care about this team. So if you're one of those fans who truly believes the Rams can get back to the Super Bowl, subscribe and become part of the community. Our first goal is 800 subscribers, and I want the people who are here now to be able to say they were part of Rams House Daily from the beginning. Because maybe Ty Simpson is just having a really good preseason. Or maybe, just maybe, the Rams have found something much bigger for the future. We don't know yet, but I can't wait to find out.